Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to show you how you can use ChatGPT for your IT affairs. The most amazing concept of ChatGPT is that you can talk with that. It doesn't matter if you use it as an IT administrator or as a developer or as a web designer. You can ask whatever you want, and for each and every question, you will get back a practical answer with a very clear explanation about your question. In this video, I want to show you how you can use all of these things with practical examples from different point of views, and we do everything here. So let's go and let's do that with some practical examples. The first thing that we do is we go to the browser, and here we type ChatGPT. The ChatGPT is from the OpenAI company. You see here, we click on that. And here is the first page of the website. If you want to know a little bit more about the company, so you can go to About here. Under About, you can find a brief explanation about the company, about the goals of the company, highlights who is involved in this company, and so on. But now we go back to the first page of ChatGPT, and here we have the option Try ChatGPT. We click on it, and after that we come to the login page. So you have to have an account. If you already have it, that's good. If not, don't worry, it's very simple. So you click on sign up, and after that you give your email address with a password, and you get a verification email, and after that you can activate your account and you go to the login. That's it. It's very easy. I don't do it in this video because I already have an account, so I go directly to the login. I click on login, and here I select my email address, and after that continue, and here I give my password, press enter again, and that's it. It is ChatGPT. Under the capabilities here, you see that remembers what user said earlier in the conversation. That's a very good concept of ChatGPT. The only limitation that ChatGPT has is limited knowledge of world and events after 2021. So the information before this date here are not in ChatGPT, but it does not matter. You can use ChatGPT. Here you can ask whatever you want in this box, and you will get the answer, get back your answer. For example, first we try to use ChatGPT as an IT administrator. First, we want to know what are the best Linux books. What are the best Linux books? For example, books. And after that, we just simply press enter. That's it. We get a very clear answer from ChatGPT, the Linux command line, Linux Bible, and here you see that learn the bash shell, the complete Linux manual. And here you see that these books cover a wide range of topics, including Linux command line, shell scripting, system administration, and so on. That's very amazing. Now, suppose that we want to know what are the most used Linux commands. So we ask, what are the most used Linux commands, and we press enter. That's really cool. You see that ChatGPT sends us the Linux commands that are mostly used. Here, for example, ls. You see that here we have also a brief explanation about the command list directory contents, or make dir, make a new directory, pwd, print a current working directory, And here, for example, for ping, test network connectivity, or for SSH, and so on, SCP for copying files securely between the hosts. We have, you see that it's really amazing. It's really very practical. Here, for example, we ask another question and we want to know how we can install Java development kit on Linux. So we ask how to install JDK or Java development kit on Linux, and we press enter. That's it. That's the answer from ChatGPT. For example, on Ubuntu, you can use these commands. First, update the repositories, and after that, default JTK if you don't want to have a specific version of JTK. And after that, how you can use it, how you can add it onto the Java home, and how you can check if it is installed correctly. So you see that the explanation is very clear and the commands are really practical, and you can just directly copy paste these commands on your Linux machine and you can use it. Now we can ask how to create a Java key store on Ubuntu, for example. Here it will be said that first you have to install JTK if you don't have it, and after that, with the use of this command, you can create your key store. You see that with the use of key tool, you can set name for your keys, and here is the algorithm and your key store and the password for your key store. And after that, after creating the key store, you can also verify if the key store is created and if you have everything in your key store, your private key or certificate, with the use of this command key tool -list -v, and then after that -key store, and your key store and your password. Is really amazing. It shows you everything that you want. Now let us ask ChatGPT something else. For example, how to disable an incoming port on Ubuntu. For example, we want to disable an incoming port on Ubuntu, so we ask this question, and after that we press enter. That's it. First, you have for disabling or for blocking an incoming port on Linux machine. So you can use it with the use of IP tables. IP tables is normally installed on each and every Linux machine, but if you don't have it for each and every reason, so you can install it with the use of this command. And after that, you can block the port that you want. And in this example, you see that here, to block incoming traffic to a specific port, such as port 80, here you can use this command here to block it. And the problem with IP tables is that after rebooting, the changes will be gone. And here you see that it offers you another commands, and that is the IP tables persistent. So with the use of that, the changes that you've done in your IP tables will remain after rebooting the machine. But suppose that we don't want to use IP tables, we want to use firewall. How to block a port in firewall on Ubuntu. That's so nice. So with the use of firewall, you can use UFW, that is the uncomplicated firewall. So first you install it. Normally it is installed. It is a packet on your Linux machine, and it is by default there on your machine, and you don't need it to install it. But if it is not installed, and it is impossible, but if it's not installed, so you can use this command to install it. And after that, with the use of this command here, you can deny port 80, and it will be the protocol. And if it is not enabled, you can use it with the use of this, enable it with the use of this command here. But you have to be very, very careful, because it is a little bit tricky to work with firewall, and it could be that you lost your connection to your machine because the ports will be blocked. But as an understanding, you can use ChatGPT here with the use of these things here. Good. Now let's use ChatGPT as a developer. Suppose that you are a developer and you want to develop something, a tool or something over Docker. So we want to use it. We want to know how it is and what do we need and how we can do it. First, we ask ChatGPT how we can install Docker on our Linux machine. How to set up, for example, Docker and Docker Compose on Ubuntu. Now we get the answer from ChatGPT, and you see that it shows us how we can install Docker and Docker Compose from the GitHub repository, and how we can check if everything is installed there. The second thing that you want to ask is, for example, we want to install Nginx or Docker Compose, but we don't know how it is. How to develop Nginx in Docker Compose. It's really amazing. Here we have asked how we can develop Nginx or Docker Compose, and here first we get this explanation: create a Docker Compose.yaml file, and in this YAML file you just need this Docker configuration. And here we go further. You see that it shows us how we can start this container with the use of this command, Docker Compose up, and how you can stop the container with the use of Control-C. Together you can stop the container. The interesting thing is that ChatGPT tells you how you can use your configuration, how you can mount the configuration of your Nginx to this container. Here you see that to modify the Nginx configuration, you can use this here under the volumes. You create nginx.conf, and in this file you set your configuration that you want, and after that you mount it here in the container. Here is the in container, and here is on your host. And after that, you have to restart the container. And for restarting, first docker compose down, the container will be stopped, and docker compose up, the container will be started again, and use your configuration in this nginx.configuration file. You see that is very correct, and it gives us really practical information, and it is the exact knowledge that we need for our work. So here, for example, we want to ask ChatGPT how we can mount our SSL certificates in this Docker Compose. How to mount SSL certificates in the Docker Compose file for Nginx. Press enter. That is really interesting. You see here at the Docker Compose file, ChatGPT adds this port also for your HTTPS and other volumes. First, you have the configuration file, and after that, you have your certificates. And here, under the configuration, so with the use of this, you can mount the certificate in the container, and here, under the configuration of your Nginx, you can set the certificate here. You see that it shows also how you can redirect HTTP to HTTPS here with the use of return. And now we have the SSL certificates, and if you have any location, you can add it here. This is really interesting, and here you get this clear explanation about all of this configuration and how can you start up Nginx. Now, let us say that we want to use proxy setting also, our proxy server as an environment variable in this container. So we type how to use proxy settings, for example, in Docker Compose file. It's amazing. You see that in this Docker Compose file for Nginx, you can use your proxy settings under the environment. Here, with use of HTTP proxy and HTTPS proxy, and here it will be your proxy server, and you can start a container again. And here, any connection made by Nginx container will use the proxy specified in the HTTP proxy and HTTPS proxy environment variables here, and then this. You see that it's very amazing. It is so practical for your IT job. Now, let us use ChatGPT as a web designer. First, we ask what we need as a web designer. So we ask, which knowledge do I need as a web designer? And we press enter. Here we get the knowledge that we need for a web designer. Of course, it is not just a web designer. Here, for example, you see that Nginx tells you something about SEO also, and as a web designer, you don't need to know it as a web designer. But you see that we get too many information about that. We use HTML, CSS, JavaScript if you want to create a dynamic web page, and everything is here. Now we ask ChatGPT how to create a table in HTML, for example. That is unbelievable. Here in HTML, you have to use this tag, table tag, with this explanation that you see. And for the rows, you see that we need this tag here. And in our rows, for the cells, we need another tag, TD. And you can so create a table that you want in HTML. And after that, you can also add header to that. And let us ask Nginx how to create a button in CSS. Now we have the answer of ChatGPT with the use of the button tag. You can create button, and for the style of that button in CSS, you can use these settings here. Background color, you can set a background color for a button, color, padding, border, and everything that you want here. You just need to change these amounts here that you have according to your need. And here you also get a hover for your button. For example, if you click to your button, if you go over or hover your button, the background color will be changed. It's really amazing. You can do anything that you want with the use of ChatGPT. For example, how to change the background color of a web with CSS. And now the answer of the ChatGPT with the use of button element. And here you see in the CSS, you can set a color for that. And you have these options to select your color. As you see, ChatGPT is very practical and very interesting, and you can use it in each and every branch that you want. So that's it. I hope that you liked it.